you well, but I know how to make you melt. Blame it on the summer heat, when my little black two-piece couldn't get close enough. Sandy sheets, summer rush, winking out by the pier. Couple months felt like a year. When it was bright, it was blinding. Oh, caught me off guard, no denying. When you turn like the water at high tide, knee-deep, shipwrecked, high and dry. No, you're gonna burn me like. Would've brought a little SPF to make the sting hurt a little less. Sun's got nothing on the way you left. I'd known you were gonna burn me like this. Would've brought a little SPF. Midnight dips in her skin. We were laughing, jumping in. Had your arms around my shoulder as the air was getting colder. Thought that we had it all till it turned to missed calls. Couple months felt like a year. Guess you were all about the shade. You turned like the water at high tide, knee-deep, shipwrecked, high and dry. Knowing you were gonna burn me like this. Would've brought a little SPF to make the sting hurt a little less. The sun's got nothing on the way you left. I'd known you were gonna burn me like this. Would've brought a little SPF. SPF. When it was bright, it was blinding. Ooh, oh, got me off guard, no denying. Turn like the water at high tide, left me knee-deep, shipwrecked, high and dry. I'd known you were gonna burn me like this. Would've brought a little SPF to make the sting hurt a little less. The sun's got nothing on the way you left. I'd known you were gonna burn me like this. Would've brought a little SPF. 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 Thank you. Well, my name is Amy Nelson. I am a Saskatchewan artist, and I am so happy to be here. We're playing some new songs for you today, and I've been asking Sean to play guitar for me for a long time, and he finally stopped saying no. So I'm very excited to have Sean Blackman up on stage here with me. I've been spending a lot of time away from home this year, writing a bunch of brand new songs for my new CD, and this is a new one that I wrote down south. It's called I Call That a Dare. You put down your phone so I know I got you. The band's so loud that I have to read your lips. I try to play it cool, try to hide how bad I want you. But as you pull the label off your beer, I can see you whisper in my ear. You better not look at me like that, I'm just a little bit tipsy. You better not look at me like that, or you might have to kiss me. You say it's moving way too fast, we just can't go there. Or you call that a warning, I call that a dare. I hear you saying, but it doesn't mean I'm listening. I'm laughing way too loud, but I don't care. Sometimes you just know it's be amazing. I'm gonna break you down so nice, even if it takes me half the night. You better not look at me like that, 'cause we're just a little bit tipsy. You better not look at me like that, or you might have to kiss me. say you're moving way too fast. We just can't go there. Well, you call that a warning, but I call that a dare. I say, tell me that I can. It only makes me wanna try. I know your hands are shaking. I can look into your eyes and say you better not look at me like that, 'cause we're both a little bit tipsy. You better not look at me like that, or you might have to kiss me. You say we're moving way too fast. You just can't go there. You call that a warning, yeah, but I call that a dare. Thank you, guys. Well, I'm really excited to be a part of this webcast and just very proud to be a part of SaskMusic. I've been on the board of directors for SaskMusic for 6 years and have learned a whole ton about boards and working as a team to make good things happen for musicians in this province. And I'm very, very excited with everything we have going on here in Saskatchewan. It's exciting to have everybody from across Canada in our home province. One of the writers I've been working with down south, his name is Jeff Cohen, and he's had a lot of success himself with cuts by groups like the band Perry. And so there was a song that they had on hold for a very long time, and the short version of this story is they didn't end up recording it, but I did. Three sides to every story. There is yours, there is mine, and there's the truth. We can both agree to disagree, can't you see? We talk about what we're waiting for till we don't know what we're waiting for anymore. Hey love, how about a little bit, everything we gotta give, oh, I can hear a train rolling out of the station. How long must we be moving on, right here's where we both belong. Say what I mean and I mean what I'm saying. I can't see me loving nobody but you. Hey love, I said I can't see me loving nobody but you. Hey love, well, I'm never gonna let you down. You're my biggest fan, understand that's a fact. Almost if we could, wish we would, baby, we could have understood. Could have found a way back to something so good. Hey love, how about a little bit, everything we gotta give, oh, I can hear the train rolling out of the station. How long must we be moving on, right here's where we both belong. Say what I mean and I mean what I'm saying. Can't see loving nobody but you. Hey love, can't see me loving nobody but you. Well, hey love, yeah. Three sides to every story. There is yours, there is mine, and there's the truth. Well, hey love, how about a little bit, everything we gotta give. Whoa, I say what I mean and mean what I'm saying. I can't Thank you, guys. Yeah. So every singer has their own trick when they start losing their voice. My trick usually works pretty good, but it tastes terrible. Has anybody out there ever tried Nim Jam? One person? No one else should, really, but it's not that tasty. Did you want to try? I've been very, very lucky this year to get some support through our province, through Creative Saskatchewan, and through Factor, and a bunch of organizations that have helped me out along the way. And with Factor support, I've been able to record my 3rd CD, so I'm really excited to sing a song for you that's going to be on that CD. We're one song away from finishing it, and I absolutely can't wait to get this new music out. And this is my love song. I've only got one, and it's a reference about boxing and love. I didn't know the gloves were on, didn't know I was stepping in that ring, didn't know I could feel this much for anyone or anything. I was doing fine all by myself, all good, just living on my own. Your love strikes like a punch in a second flat. It's game over, gone. You got the love that I need. You got the knock me off of my feet. Down for the count, I'm down. All I can think about. You bring the heart and I'll bring the beat. Down for the count, I'm down. Good night, lights out, yeah. I've never been struck before, never been punch drunk from a kiss. Never thought I would ever know the way it feels in a love like this. But something about the way you smile and how you get that dimple on your chin. I'm a wreck, I must confess. I'm out of breath. All I know is you got the love that I need. You got to knock me off of my feet. Down for the count, I'm down. All I can think about. You wrap your arms around me, and you bring the heart and I'll bring the beat. Down for the count, I'm down. Good night, lights out. The kisses get stronger, I'm getting weaker. You're getting stronger, you reach over, I get closer. Love strikes, lights out. You got the love that I need. You got to knock me off of my feet. Down for the count, I'm down. All I can think about. Hey, yeah. Oh, you got the love that I need. You got to knock me off of my feet. Down for the count, I'm down. Good night, lights out. Down for the count, I'm down. Good night, lights out, yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. We're just going to do one more song here for you, and then I believe we have a little interview that we're going to do as well, Ben and I. So I've been spending a lot of time in Australia. I've been there 3 times in the last 9 months, and I'm very excited to be working with a team of people there who have been so good to me. A man named Perrin that is here in Australia who's been helping me out, and I made a really good friend there. Her name is Kirsty Lee Akers, and she is a country artist from Australia who came back with me over here because she's playing at Americana Fest in Nashville next week, and I wanted to show her what we had going on in Canada. And so she's going to do some shows with me. We're doing a show right after this where Kirsty will be singing at the Holiday Inn. And Kirsty's a great singer and a great friend, and I would love for all of you to meet these Australian guests. They've been so great to me, in fact, that they've helped me out and shown me the right people. So this last song we're going to sing for you was my debut single in Australia. And as of last week, this song cracked the top 10 in Australia. So I'm very excited to share it with you today. Said he'd pick me up around 8-ish, but I was still waiting at home around 9-ish. So I called him and found him at the bar with all of his friends. He told me he was drunkish, and could I come and pick him up-ish? So I told him I ain't Uber, and I hung up on that loser. I'm the only one looking for someone who don't change with the weather, holding out for something better. Say what you mean what you say. Get in the books and do the damn thing. Commit, I wish. Wanna find somebody who ain't so ish. And I got a friend who's kinda friendish. We make plans for next weekend-ish, but her on and off again, it's all turned on, and she's blown me off for a booty call. I'm the only one looking for someone who don't change with the weather, holding out for something better. Say what you mean what you say. Get in the books and do the damn thing. Commit, I wish. Wanna find somebody who ain't so ish. One foot out, one foot in. If you all know what I'm talking about, can I get a big amen? Am I the only one looking for someone who don't change with the weather, holding out for something better? Say what you mean what you say. Get in the books and do the damn thing. Commit, I wish. Wanna find somebody who ain't so full of ish. Thank you, guys.
Amy Nelson here with us. Amy Nelson here with us on stage for the SaskMusic webcast at the PotashCorp Country Music Week going on now. Day 2 of it. Glad to have you on stage here. Glad you ended with that song too. I appreciate that quite a bit, and the video came out for that just a little recently too. Looks like the video was a whole lot of fun to shoot.
I got to eat cheese pizza in a pool. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Appreciate you being with us here, Amy. I know you're working hard all week and weekend long here with us too. How's it been so far for you? How's been the Whirlwind experience?
You know, it's been really fun, and I really appreciate you guys having this webcast. It's always great while it's happening and great footage afterwards. And so, yeah, this week I've been just got home, so I've been home for almost a week now.
Yes,
so
okay.
That's good. I was supposed to be home at the beginning of August, but it was going well there, and I decided to stay for a bit, so that was fun. And
tell us a little bit more about that Australia experience. How did that sort of connection come about? And the music and the collaboration seem to be well received out there too for you.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to go to Australia in January and February. That was always the plan. But back in November, there was the Australian Music Week was happening there. Yes. And there was an artist from Canada that dropped out at the last minute. And they knew I was going there, so they said, hey, what are you doing in 4 days? Can you fly to Australia? And I said, of course.
Let me check my schedule, yeah.
And so I went there and performed at that, and that was kind of my first trip there. And then I did go in January and February and performed at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, which is the biggest the biggest, I think the largest festival in Australia, but nice. A huge country festival. And there I met Perrin and Kirsty Lee Akers, who I've been working with over there, and they've just been so great to me. And so kind of networked and made my way around there, and thought, you know what, I'm going to release a single there. I'm not going to tell anybody here, and I'm going to see how it goes. And there's something called geogating I didn't even know of, so I was able to do that without anyone here even knowing. And then once I found out it was going well, I definitely wanted to tell everybody. And then once I found out that it hit the top 10 in Australia, then I was really ready for people to know. So exciting news to announce back home.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And like you say, I guess a good litmus test in that sense. If it's doing that well too, it should do well here.
Yeah, I hope so. And so if we do release it in North America, we'll probably do a whole other video, and just waiting on some meetings to take place, and we'll figure that all out. So
wonderful. Take it back a little bit. You've been in the country music scene here in the province for quite a while, and now internationally as well. What got you started? What was that catalyst for turning it into a career more than just being a listener or something you did casually?
You know, I went to school to be a high school music teacher. So
Nice.
the intent was to be a high school music teacher, and I still sort of help out a little bit back home I have a singing school back home,
Yeah,
and I'm not in town enough to teach lessons ever, but I've got some great vocal coaches that work with my students, and you know, through going to school to be a music teacher, I just started to play guitar thinking I would get another instrument to use in the classroom because I already played piano. And then through playing guitar, I started playing Terry Clark and the Dixie Chicks, and I always sang. I just kind of was shy about it. So my guitar teacher said, you know, you should really start doing some shows. And
Nice.
so I did that for a bit, and then it just kind of, I thought, you know, I'm just going to try this for 6 months and see how it goes. I don't know, we'll see. And then 8 months passed, and I thought, oh yeah, right, I was supposed to think about whether or not I wanted to still do that. So I said, right, okay, after 1 year, I'm going to think about this and see if I want to keep doing it. And then by that point, 2 years passed, and I thought, right, I was supposed to go back and think about this, and it just kind of went from there. And these last 2 years especially have been really exciting for me. A lot of support and a lot of traveling, and I'm quite excited about everything coming up with this new CD.
Yeah, fantastic. Probably a little more traveling than you do if you were just the music teacher then, in the sense, too, in the high school.
Well, the 5 days off that you get a year just wasn't going to work for this schedule, but...
No, quite a neat start and quite a neat pathway in that sense too. Well, what about country music? Is it the locale of being here in the Prairie Province of Saskatchewan? What grabs you about the genre of country music?
You know, for me, it was people back home. I live in Regina here in Saskatchewan, so like a few hours away, but a couple hours, depends who's driving. And, you know, when people hear that I'm singing country music, it still makes them laugh because it wasn't something that growing up I always listened to.
No?
At all. No. So when I'm on stage and people want to hear like a country classic, I'm always a little nervous. I really need to brush up. But then I met all the people here in the community here, and it was hard to picture going into any other genre. I just felt like this is where I was supposed to be. And my interest is really in the really cool country music that's happening in different countries around the world that nobody has really heard of yet or knows that they listen to country music. But I mean, the biggest question I always get is, do they even listen to country music in Australia?
I would assume so too.
Well, if you talk to Kirsty, her last 5 singles went #1, so she would tell you from her fan base they're most certainly listening to country music over there, and I found the same with my singles. So anywhere where they're going to listen, I'm going to go.
So in terms of that international country sound too, is there a bit of a different take on it too than you're finding from Saskatchewan to Australia country?
You know, there's definitely some similarities. Like a lot of it's hard to say, but I do find that in the same way that we look to Nashville sometimes, and some of the recordings are there, a lot of Australians travel to Nashville to write. So that's especially why I said, okay, you're so close, you got to come to Canada. We've got lots of great stuff going on here. And so, yeah, like, I mean, there's some differences, but I would say that we're all kind of watching the Carrie Underwood. We're all kind of watching
Fair.
the same people, so that kind of, you know, everybody's got some similar influences, so there's some ties there.
That same sort of gateway in a sense too then.
Yeah.
Fantastic here too. You're talking about the community abroad and at home here too. You've seen this sort of whole festival and whole experience of Canadian Country Music Week, the Saskatchewan Country Music Week. You've seen it evolve over the time. How have you noticed it shifted? What are some of the positives that you've seen come out a bit? Bit of a loaded question.
Yeah, well, you know, it is funny. This is my 11th CCMAs, and so I have seen a lot of people throughout the years that were ahead of where I'm at, and then the next year they're just not back, and I wonder, my goodness, I would have loved those opportunities. Where did you go? But so it's interesting for me, just having been here consistently for so long, seeing the turnover of artists that like people that I thought for sure I would see the next year that just kind of dropped away, and sometimes life happens, sometimes things come up. And then there's other artists I saw this year that I haven't seen in a few years. I was excited to see them back. So I think I like watching throughout the years the trends. And in Saskatchewan here, everybody was so happy when CCMAs were here in 2012. And so far, just this year especially, I just feel like it's good vibes in the air. Like, I feel good being here, and I think everyone's excited, so I'm selfishly excited to have them here in Saskatchewan.
No, totally. Like, you're talking about your 11th. This is my first CCMAs, but definitely those good vibes and that community feeling is here in abundance. It's really nice to have that, and really nice to have that support. I could see why sticking in this part of the industry and being with these people and collaborating so easily too with it. It's a very nice community that comes together.
Yeah, it is. And I think like anything, all of the associations are always like learning and growing. But I wonder next time it'll be in Saskatchewan. If it keeps getting better like this, I can't imagine what kind of a show we could put on. So.
Going higher. What else are you excited here for the week too for you, Amy? With it being your 11th, what are some of the big ones that you look forward to event-wise for these weeks?
Well, tomorrow is my big show. It's a show called Rise and Shine. And so Kirsty and I are both performing at it, and it's Saturday morning. And it's a female, powerful, just good feeling, supporting other females, kind of female empowerment. That's the word I was looking for. So it's myself, Kirsty Lee Akers, who's here from Australia, Twin Kennedy. They're hosting the whole thing, and this is the 3rd year they've done it. So I'm excited to be included. We've got our own Saskatchewan. Tennille Arts is playing at it.
Nice, yes.
We've got a band, all-female band from Alberta called Nice Horse, and they're so awesome. And
Great
then,
name.
We've got 2 females also from Alberta. They make up the group called the Doll Sisters. And so all these female performers, it's tomorrow at the Radisson Hotel from 9 to 11. It's called Rise and Shine, and we're actually going to be streaming it online. So we'll have to get you guys the link.
Nice,
and,
please do.
More importantly, you need to come to the show, Ben, because you might get a gift bag if you do.
Oh. All right.
Gift bag.
I'll mark it down. There's a lot of events to take in here for sure. So definitely looking forward to that too. And great, as you say, to have that angle for that support of females. With bringing her in from Australia, how's the Saskatchewan experience just in terms of the climate, the environment, the town?
Well, as soon as they got here, we went to the Canadian Brew House because that's by my house in Regina, and I thought that would be the most Canadian thing we could do with the hockey sticks and the moose head on the wall. And
like an embassy almost then, yeah.
Pretty, yeah. I don't even know where to go with that. But so that was neat for me. I got them right away, a paralyzer and a Caesar and different Canadian-like things to try. And everybody here has been really welcoming so far. So I hope that everybody goes over and introduces themselves and gets to meet them because they're amazing. So
totally. You were mentioning a little bit of that collaboration style. You were mentioning the release of the new track "Ish" here in North America potentially. What else is coming down the pipeline for you?
Coming down the pipeline. Okay, so right after this, I go home and I unpack so that I can pack because I'm going to Edmonton to showcase at Breakout West.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm going to Calgary for a week. I get to work with a girl named Tamara Beatty, who did a workshop here. She's a vocal coach from The Voice. So I'm in Calgary the following week, and then back to Nashville.
Did you take in the workshop here early this morning with her?
No, I did not, and I wanted to, and I thought, well, I'm going to get to work with her one-on-one, so I'm going to get the...
Let others have that time.
Let them have that time, and I feel that sleep is something I need to start doing, so I don't want to commit to that particularly, but I thought today I should try and get a couple hours.
Of course, it's a sort of pace yourself week here too in the town in Saskatoon.
And you asked about the climate before. I have to say I didn't answer that question properly. So when I was over there in August, that is their winter. So it was, for me, I found it a bit chilly. I missed out on like the beautiful Saskatchewan summer. Not that I'm complaining, but like here in time again.
It's still.
And so for them, they're coming over. It's their winter, but they're coming over to our summer. So it's a funny sort of seasonal shift. But to be fair, it's not really that cold there in their winter. So
right. Not to the winters maybe we might know here then, yeah.
Right, yeah. And so when it's our winter, like say January, I get to go back there and perform in Tamworth again, and that'll be like their really hot summer. So.
Bring the summer wardrobe then.
Yes.
Yeah, none of the big winter parkas or anything like that.
And make sure to post lots of pictures for everybody back home who's scraping their cars of snow and ice.
That's so rude. Amy, really appreciate it. Even just in the end too, what are some of those big influences for you in the country music world if I'm getting into country music more and more myself? Not the biggest country person, but getting more and more exposed to it. Who should I be checking out?
That's a great question. I feel
Besides yourself.
there's a lot of great artists that are around performing this weekend. And as far as going online to hear music, like for me, where I really got into country after I stopped making fun of everyone else for listening to it, they got me listening to. So my gateway artists.
Nice,
I had some gateway artists for you. Mine were like the Dixie Chicks.
Right. Okay.
And so the Dixie Chicks I listen to a lot. Nowadays, it's an artist like Miranda Lambert.
Okay.
She's got a bit of sass, and she says what she thinks, and I like that about her. And so those would be my first go-tos. And more often these days, I'm listening to a lot of the artists that are some of the male groups. I'm really loving some of the male groups. So I would be opposite of some people in that way. But I feel that I could create a list for you, and we'd have you switched over in no time.
Look, if you've got time during the week here, I would love that list.
You know, I've got lots of time. I feel spare time is something I've just got an abundance of.
Of course.
So if anyone else needs any tasks completed, I would like to help.
Amy, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time here on the SaskMusic stage. How can people keep up to date with the releases, with what's going on with you? Where can they go check it out?
All of my socials are at Amy Nelson Music. I'd love to connect with all of you. And my website is amynelson.ca.
Perfect. Amy Nelson here on the SaskMusic webcast stage. Thank you so much for being a part. Hope the event goes well for you too. And I appreciate sort of the ambassador international contingent that you're bringing here too. So that's really nice.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben Valiaho here on behalf of SaskMusic for our webcast going on in the lobby at the TCU Place here, part of PotashCorp Canadian Country Music Week. A couple more great artists before we end off our second day. This will be the last day of webcasting and a whole lot of other good events going on. We got Kelsey Fitch up on deck ready to go here, and stick around. We'll be here for a little while longer.